Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sports Zone. I'm your host, Charles Hall II. It's my co-pilot, SHAKA Bradley. And today, the Wizards get a big win last night without the injured John Wall. College football got topsy-turvy with some L's from the Big Ten. But first, we had a surprise victory by the Washington Redskins. His mob, his man, Kirk Cousins led the drive down, and the Skins survived a big win out west over Seattle, 17-14. The defense held on. They got lucky, I guess. Seattle's kicker, who might be looking for a job, Blair Walsh, pretty soon, missed 3 field goals, all of them 50 yards and in, all in the first half. That changed the game dramatically. The Skins were up 10-2 to the fourth quarter. Russell Wilson got hot, got the team down, got the lead. They were up 14-10. But Kurt did the thing. 2 big plays, big pass to Dotson, who laid out for it. Got to love that for your receiver. Your take on your boys. Your boys.
Force these people on me.
Man, don't act like that's not your team. Do not act like you're not a Skin fan.
Listen, it's surprising, but then how much of a surprise is it if, from what I heard, they won like 4 games in a row in Seattle in the regular season? So how much of a surprise is it?
They cannot win it. Can't win it in the playoffs, though.
That's true, but it was a surprise. I did not expect them to win that game. I certainly wouldn't have chosen them to win that game. I gave it a little bit of run. I didn't watch it from start to finish nonstop, but I was in on it enough to see. It was a rainy, rainy, wet, messy kind of game. Defense is struggling. Defense is playing. Both defenses holding.
That type of game. Old Redskins type of game.
Yeah, and
old
actually,
school Redskin ball.
This is the kind of game Seattle always plays.
Mm-hmm.
Low scoring. They're losing. It looks like the other team going to be able to pull it out, and then here they come at the end, get a touchdown and take the lead. Just so happened, Kirk made it happen and was able to get a couple save my life plays at the end.
You about to say the defense held on because
Russell
Wilson brought him downfield. He messed up. He should have spiked the ball and whatnot to stop the clock. They tried to make the play, and then he failed, got sacked. That was a mistake he shouldn't have did.
Something they do was
he threw the Hail Murray from half court from 50-yard line, and he heaved it and almost got caught by that ball.
I thought that thing was going to get caught, but I said, wow. But, it was a good, fun game. I wouldn't mind watching that game again. And Russell was making things happen. That's the kind of quarterback I like, man. A quarterback that can throw the ball, make plays in the passing game, but also make plays with his feet, man. Like, to me, you can't beat that type of quarterback, so I always choose one of those. But, again, the Redskins defense, the D-line was in there. They were on his behind, forcing him to make those kind of plays like he was making. And Kirk and Dotson and whoever else.
Once again, there was no running game. There was no running game.
There's not going to be one. Everybody might as well.
You would think you can get something. They haven't had a running game since Alfred Morris left. That makes me get that clear.
They don't want a running game.
No, if they can't run. They haven't been able to.
Yeah, you can't because you don't want to. It's
Kirk
not a philosophy.
Threw the ball 31 times, 21-31. He had 2 fumbles, lost 1, kept 1.
It's like
Vernon Davis led him in receptions with 6 catches, but they're one-sided, one-dimensional, big time. There's no threat in the running game at all.
Yeah, it's not gonna. He does not want to run the ball. Consequently,
granted, they got 2 touchdowns yesterday from Fat Rob. Rob Kelly got 2 scores. Granted, it was short yardage play.
It's a function of the game, so you will run. That don't mean that you want to, so you're not going to do it efficiently.
Now, here's the take I want to say. Now, at first, a couple things ran through my mind. When Seattle took the lead 14-10, it made me wonder. They could have held on for a field goal, but I guess they were figuring we ain't trusting Blair Walsh anymore. They were trying. We're going to score.
You expected him to make that field goal?
But it was a chip shot. That was an extra point. But then again, he's missed 3 of them. Then you got the Reds and get the ball down. I was thinking they were going to hold the ball and let it run out a little bit, give a little clock on it. But they said, forget it. We're going to score to make sure we get in the end zone.
You got to get that bucket. You weren't expecting those big plays, but they went for it.
Yeah, they did.
They went for it. They made it happen. Everybody in the city is happy again.
Now they got a big time Minnesota coming in next week.
It's another
home game.
Defense.
Minnesota is a division leading right now, playing good ball. But with that kind of win going out west and then coming home, it got to build you some confidence. They got to feel good. You would think. Y'all have to feel good.
Yeah. I don't know that it means anything going forward other than you beat Seattle yesterday.
I mean, that gives y'all, what does that make
That's
y'all?
4-4.
4-4.
I mean, you still out of the playoffs right now.
You're still right there.
You in the
you
fight.
you need a division win. Good
You
gracious
do
alive,
need
y'all need
that.
a win. 0-3, y'all need a win badly.
I mean, you in the fight, but it's going to be a tough road to travel unless other people start facing some injuries like the Redskins are facing.
Some other teams lose.
Well, yeah.
Some other teams have to lose.
You can build some confidence off of this game, man, because that was a team that no one expected you to beat. You went in, you played good defense, but it's a week-to-week league. From 1 week to the next.
The league is 50-50.
You know,
it
so
is 50-50.
Does this win really mean anything going into
For them,
Minnesota?
for the Skins, yes, it does. For y'all, it's y'all, buddy. You're Skin fan. For y'all needed that win just to get y'all some confidence again. And going back home, again, I just said it, y'all, you don't win in there often that on a regular basis. Okay, regular seasons, yes, but y'all haven't been up there and won a game in a while. And the last time y'all were up there for a playoff win, didn't look too good. But I mean, the Skins have some issues though. They play good defense. Matter of fact, my man namesake played well. I get D'Angelo Hall ain't played too bad out there. The defense carried the load. Kurt threw it 31 times, spread the ball around. But you would love to see some kind of, at some point, somebody getting 50 yards rushing, maybe at minimum, maybe.
I mean, why would you expect it?
I mean, I don't think the Skins can't run.
Yeah, they can't run because it's a mentality. You don't want to run. So it just bleeds through. When the Skins wanted to run the ball, when those we don't speak of was playing quarterback, and they had a coach who liked to run the ball.
Well, yeah, Mike Shanahan.
They were the number one rushing team in the league.
His resume says that he's in Denver with three straight.
That's a mindset.
3 straight 1,000-yard runners, 3 different runners.
That's a mindset, man.
Zach
That
Gary,
comes from the coach.
Curtis, Clinton Portis, Terrell Davis, I think it was.
That's like
Marine
when we
Mike
used to
Anderson.
play Madden, and y'all said I didn't like to run the ball.
You had Stevie D back then. Yeah, all you wanted to do was duck the ball.
So I mean,
you wanted to hook that thing up, man. That's all you knew.
Balanced offense, man.
He wasn't balanced back then.
Balanced offense.
He wasn't balanced back then. Folks, we're going to take a quick break right here. When we come back, we'll discuss the rest of the NFL. A lot of big games. We'll get our take of the top 5 of the NFL after a brief message.
Mom used to scream about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy till Mom went to Al-Anon. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Welcome back to the Sports Zone, folks. The NFL, good gracious alive. They put up numbers out here. Philadelphia, the best team in the NFL by far right now, record-wise, put up a big 51 up on Denver, the number 1 defense in the league. Brock Osweiler did nothing for the Broncos. 2 interceptions on his first time back, but Carson Wentz had 4 TDs. They looked good yesterday. Denver looked bad, but Philly looked pretty good. Your take?
Yeah, I mean, you probably got to say they are the best team, man. They're the ones they
whooped them.
They're doing everything they want to do, man.
That wasn't no bum squad on defense. That team
No.
plays good defense, but I think Denver is wasting that team's defensive talent with this lack of offense right now.
The talent might be overstated. This, 2 or 3 years ago, that talent was rolling, but is it the same talent level now?
Interesting.
I mean, we still got old boy doing his thing, but it might not be the same.
Who is old boy?
Von Miller.
Oh, yeah, Von Miller gets his thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, you listen, man.
Like his commercials.
I didn't want to give Philly their props, but when you putting up 50 and you beating everybody, you got to give, at that point, you got to tip your cap and give, And now, going forward, are they going to be able to maintain this? Getting to the playoffs.
Well, they haven't played Dallas yet, so
that's
the
going to be a
one
good
thing.
game.
That's going to be the test.
I'm intrigued to see that matchup. That's always, an interesting matchup anyway. But now, with Dak and
speaking of Dallas, they had a big win yesterday over KC.
Kansas City, yeah.
KC was a big time squad early in the season, and that was strictly Zeke and Dak in the second half making plays. I mean, that team pissed me off with that right before the half touchdown score, but they held it down and played good ball. Zeke and Dak did their thing, running the game. Dez got hurt, but Beasley got 2 touchdown catches, so they're doing their thing. So Dallas is right there on the heels. If it ended the day, they would be a wild card team, but it doesn't end the day. I tell you what else caught my eye was the Rams. They hung 51 up on the Giants. I mean, the Giants, good gracious, they look bad too. Yeah. But 51-17, and now word out is, do they want to continue to have Eli at the helm? But forget the Rams. I mean, forget the Giants. The Rams, Jared Goff, quarterback, did his thing, 4 touchdown passes. Then you had Todd Gurley with a couple of touchdown runs. That offense is balling, man. Your man, former skin man.
Young McVay.
Hey, he's doing his thing out there. He is calling plays, making it happen, doing his thing. You got to tip your hat for that. Any word on them?
I mean, it's interesting to see how that thing just turned around just like that. From everybody looking at Goff like he was a bust.
Yeah.
Gurley like he can't get it done
Anymore. I mean, he was getting it done last year before that.
Yeah, I mean, workhorse
game
and all
last
that, and now they rolling.
Oh, they definitely get that. That's a nice 1-2 punch.
You know, it's
I can't name a receiver on that team, but
nah.
I mean, it's not the greatest show on turf anymore, but they still got a thing.
They got Sammy Watkins from Buffalo.
Who?
Sammy Watkins. He said who? Sammy Watkins was a man at Clemson.
Hey, man, how about the Saints, man? They're the first team to go 0-2 and then win 6 straight games. I'm impressed with them. And they gave it to the Buckman. The Saints, man, Drew Brees doing this thing, passing that thing around. I'm with the Saints, how they've been looking. They've been impressing me the last 4 weeks.
I mean, they are winning. So, like, I do a whole lot of saying who's not good and all this stuff, and folks are winning, so you can't continue to just say they're not good if they're still winning. Mm-hmm. But I don't really buy the Saints, man, and, we'll see.
Interesting.
I want to see them play Carolina.
Your skins can be the Saints, you think, huh?
They got the Saints coming up after this Minnesota game, if I'm not mistaken. My Skins, I don't know if the Skins have enough to beat them. We'll see. The Redskins defense apparently can play with the best of them. So we'll see how that shakes out.
How about the team, the helmets that I love the best in the league, that Jayville two-tone look. Jayville put my man Lynn Fournette and said, look here, buddy, you want to come to practice, we're going to sit you down, and we're going to still run the ball and make it happen. As they beat down the Bengals 23-7, and I mean that literally, as they got into a fight on the field, A.J. Green and Jalen Ramsey, they beat them with a stern running game, solid. And I keep mentioning them every week because that team, before the preseason started, Bortles was predicted to be on a bench. No chance in the world he was going to probably get the job done. He's holding it down, and they'll be they'd be a wild card team at the end of the day, but they're right there with Tennessee, right down there.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of amazing, even with that ugly uniform.
Man, that helmet
to see
is
how
tight,
everything
man.
Turns around for them.
That helmet is sweet, Slim. It's a good look.
That thing is terrible, man.
Man, I disagree. That thing, you look at it one way, it swirls back from gold to black. That don't look tight.
That's not an NFL uniform.
That's a unique look.
Like a USFL uniform or something.
Hey, some of them squads had good uniforms back then. The Generals, it's like that mob back then.
But the defense is balling for them. I was looking at the scroll. I didn't see Fournette. I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, now they told that dude sit down. Yeah, you want to come to practice or come late.
Get a little piece of humble pie.
Yeah, he was on the sideline though, dapping everybody out, giving high fives. Mm-hmm. But they ran the ball effectively. I mean, that's the thing about it. They ran the ball the same way they would do if he was there.
I mean, there's a formula that works.
Oh, they got it.
You run the ball, you play good defense, play action pass, get the big plays. I mean, the thing is not hard to figure out how this thing goes. All these people who just want to throw the ball all over the place, half of them don't succeed. Like, you're going to get a bunch of pretty stats, and you're might be a Hall of Fame quarterback and all that. But, I mean, you're not going to do a whole lot of winning.
A lot of rumbles took place yesterday, though, man. I'll tell you that. I mean, Mike Evans coming down with a nice crack back on that guy for
that was an
Saints.
Interesting one.
I mean, you had, what was that, Winston, Jameis Winston,
yeah,
pointing his finger at the guy. Next thing you know, he come back, look at him, and wow, smacked in the back from Mike Evans.
I want to know what that was about because he was pointing and touched him, and then still like he was pointing somewhere else. I think he was talking trash
or something. Then you had, in the Bengals game, and the way Jalen Ramsey kind of pushed A.J. Green, so he had enough and just came from behind and choke slammed him down.
That's another
He took off his helmet, looking around like, what?
As another guy, another receiver who he seemed to get under their skin.
He's good at that.
Something about that guy.
He's good at that.
Yeah,
he's a good cornerback too.
Little questionable in that post game interview. With about Steve Smith.
Oh man,
a couple years ago, but
questionable. He says.
But apparently, I would love to know what was said throughout the game because it had to be something.
They showed the plays. Where he's getting they pushing back and forth, and he missed a play. I think A.J. Green missed some kind of catch, and then he came from behind him, gave a little nudge, and said something to him. They were definitely talking some trash.
But that's a weakness on those guys. If you let anybody get under your skin like that, I understand eventually you're a man, you got to protect yourself.
As what AJ said, my son, I tell him don't be afraid of nothing.
But
That's what he said.
But if another person can get you out of your character,
he's
that
a
way,
main weapon out there for them. He's
at
a
that
big-time
point,
weapon.
you can't be trusted.
Got to be smart up here.
The same way like
smart, AJ.
Oubre did last year in that playoff game. Like, I can't trust what you're gonna do out there because you snapped.
Yeah.
Who's to say you won't snap again?
Well, let's hear your top 5 right now for the NFL.
This top 5.
Top 5.
I mean,
Give me 5 teams.
Philly.
Seriously, you keep ducking. Okay, Philly. I'm
gonna go Philly. I mean, the way they're playing, you can't.
Well, I'll help you out. If the playoffs stop today, they get a load of this in the NFC. If at the end of the day, Philly win in the East, the Saints will win the South, Minnesota will win the North, the Rams will win the West, and the wild card, Carolina and Dallas, depending on what happens tonight, if Green Bay was to win,
Seattle? They
would be it. Seattle wouldn't beat it if it ended today. And the AFC side, this is even more weird. Pittsburgh will win the North, New England will win the East, KC will still be head of the West, Tennessee will win the South. The wild card, Jayville and Buffalo if it ended today. Which is kind of weird. So with that being said, give me a top 5. So you got Philly, you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Philly, man. I mean, Philly's balling. You can't really take away from them what they're doing. Obviously, New England. I might even throw the Rams in there, man. I mean, I don't know.
Interesting.
Where they're playing, because that's like the third or fourth time they put up.
The Rams are 6-2.
Like, I mean, KC's falling off now. They starting to lose games.
They're 6-3. Yeah, they come back to earth a little bit.
So I don't know if I have them in the top 5 anymore. I definitely don't have Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is too, up and down for me. But by default, they may have to go in there because I don't really know how good the Saints are.
They're 6-2, Pittsburgh.
Carolina has a decent looking record, but they barely won.
They're 6-3.
So
wins are wins, but you're gonna have to eye test right now, huh?
Yeah, wins are wins. I mean, they're gonna get you in, but like,
does a 5-3 Cowboy get your attention?
They do because they look like right now they have all their players. Zeke, we still don't know if Zeke's gonna play next week. If Zeke goes out,
week to week with that, man.
If Zeke goes out, then they might cancel Christmas.
No, we subbing it out for Morris.
Yeah,
we're subbing it out. We're gonna make the train move, keep it moving.
Here you go. We done went from watching the box score to now we back on the train now.
I never left the train.
Back. We was watching the box score, watching the game. Now it's we.
I've always been we, but even though I don't like the owner how he's been talking and whatnot, that's my mob.
Hey,
Denver and Dallas been my mob for years.
Hey, man.
If you have any question, you can holler at some dudes that know me from way back then.
Who do you root for?
Holler at my man Travis, holler at my man Tay, my man Bigley.
Dudes
that have known me from the ground up.
Who do you root for?
That good old Fifth and M side. I'm pulling for whoever I feel,
Come on, man.
I'm a win. I'm be either way.
Whoever, huh?
I'm gonna be good to go either way. Really, right now, I might choose Dallas. I need to win.
Ain't gonna hardly
I want them to get
Denver
number 6
over Dallas.
Why won't I? If need be.
And knowing that means you're not a real fan of Denver. I told you this before.
Man, please. My 5 is simple. I'm gonna go from the bottom up. At number 5, I like the Rams. Number 5. Now, in fact, I'm sorry. New England number 5.
Wow.
The Rams number 4. Yeah, I'm New England right now. They still shaky. That 6-3 record. 6-2. I got them at number 5. I'm putting the Rams over them because the Rams dropping 51 is impressive. Dropping 51 points is interesting.
They scored 40 a few times.
Number 3, I'm gonna say the Saints. They won 6 in a row. They on 5. Number 2, Pittsburgh. Number 1, Philly for me. That's my 5. But when you're hanging 51, no matter who you're playing against, they did it against the Giants.
Yeah.
That's impressive to me. I don't care what you say.
Philly's balling.
Okay.
Shout out to Lamar Tyler. I know he's...
Yeah, that's his mob.
Yeah, I know he's feeling good.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're discussing these Wizards, college football, some other stuff after a brief message.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Most veterans return to our communities as leaders, but everyone's journey home is not the same.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
Without assistance, the downward spiral can be quick and destructive.
It doesn't have to be this way.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran
should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Justice for Vets is the only national organization dedicated to the expansion of veterans treatment courts.
Veterans treatment courts hold our veterans accountable for their actions.
By providing structure, treatment, and mentoring, these courts help our veterans and their families get their lives back on track.
And veterans treatment courts work.
Join us.
And go to justiceforvets.org.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs. Thank you.
Folks, welcome back to the Sports Zone. College football this past weekend had some big-time action. Your top 4 teams got the job done. Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame. Clemson survived in a big game. But your stunners, your area, your Big Ten mob, and this helps out your team, Michigan. Penn State lost in a tough one, 3-point game, field goal, big kick against Michigan State. But Ohio State, they went up. Iowa City got ambushed. I'm told badly. They got ambushed by Iowa, and that was not a good look. First play of the game, J.T. Barrett threw an interception. They ran it back for a touchdown. 55-24. It was not really close after, like, the first quarter. That stunned me. So everybody all weekend, all Saturday night was like the Big Ten might be done, which helps out your Michigan Wolverines to get a chance back in it. But they still have Wisconsin. They keep sleeping on them. They're undefeated 8-0 or 9-0. But they said they have not beat a top 10 team yet, and they haven't. And it's possible they can run the table. And they're talking this craziness that they can go, 12-0, 11-0, win the Big Ten, and possibly left out because they haven't played anybody. And a one-loss team down in the SEC confront them if they go undefeated. I found it to be so chaotic and crazy. Your take? A one-loss team.
Listen,
This happened before, though. I don't think it happened before.
If Jason Campbell could go 12-0, SEC Player of the Year, and don't get to be national champion, Wisconsin can do that and not get in the playoff.
When did he do that?
Look it up.
Nah.
Look it up.
What school did he go to again?
Auburn.
That's what I thought.
Look it up.
They must have been on suspension.
No, they wasn't on suspension.
You sure?
Yes.
I forgot that. I got to go back and check that out.
Yes.
I got to go back and look at
Right
that.
the year before he came to the Redskins, yes.
I probably forgot. You might be right. I just probably forgot that.
Believe me.
Oh, you stats, huh? I
Believe me. I know that.
I can dig it. How about that shootout in Bedlam? Oklahoma
that
State.
was a wild one.
They went back and forth all night.
Not a
62-52.
bit of defense.
Yeah, they ain't played nothing. Ain't nobody
And that
done
wasn't even
nobody.
overtime.
Right. They just throwing that thing. Hucking that thing up left and right. Baker Mayfield, set, go, boom. You score. And they scored 3 touchdowns, I think, like in 37 seconds, something like that.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And that's both teams and within that time frame. And a soul playing.
So now
B.
Oklahoma, you playing that type of game, you supposed to be in there?
I mean, well, Oklahoma, the Big 12 has always been known for throwing the ball and making plays. But the crazy part is this. That I will admit to this. The SEC did it for years with Florida, but it was good football down there. But the Big 12 do it.
Florida wasn't in those type of shootouts.
But Florida was throwing the ball all the
Florida,
time.
yes. My man Steve was throwing that thing all over the place, but he wasn't going in shootouts. He was wearing people out. That's like crazy.
Yeah, that's some more video game.
Yeah, that's video game right there. That's playing Rio and him doing some mess he done did to the game.
Then you had that
and you
team.
got to keep up with him.
Miami pulled out a big win over Virginia Tech.
That was stupid.
I hated that. Man, Joe, let me say this. As a Cane fan, kill all uniforms except the white jersey, orange pants, green pants, orange jersey, white pants, or green jersey, white pants with the white helmet with the orange U on it. I don't need to see nothing else. No orange helmets, no black helmets. None of that. That disgusted me. I'm looking at that thing. That was a horrible look. All black.
What was funny
They better not wear that Saturday against Notre Dame.
Oh, that's
They better not play. That's Saturday night.
What was funny was I'm looking at the game thinking Miami was Virginia Tech.
I can believe that. They're
Virginia
right.
Tech, I'm saying, what Virginia Tech got that mess on for? Looking at the quarterback saying, that's not their quarterback. What happened to him? Come to find out it was the Miami guy.
But there's some big games this weekend coming up. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, you got 7 games or 6 games at least between top-ranked teams, and they start off Friday night Pac-12 action. Washington and Stanford gets it off on a Friday night action. But the big one we already mentioned, Notre Dame and Miami will play. You got also Oklahoma and
Cassidy.
TCU, that's a top 10. Yeah, you got that. And they slicing that again. Should be a good. That was a good game last year, but this one has a lot riding on it because the loser of the Notre Dame game might be out of making it to the college football championship. Your take? Who you with?
I'm going with Notre Dame in that game, definitely.
Interesting. I'm with the Canes on that one.
I'm rooting for Notre Dame to win the whole thing. Whether or not they do it, that's another story, but
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them.
I'm with the Canes winning the whole thing. That's my story. I'm sticking to that. But TCU Oklahoma should be a good one in the Big 12.
That might
Top
wind
10
up
action.
being another game just like that one we just saw with them and OK State.
You got Ohio State and Michigan State. Michigan State coming off a big win over Penn State. Ohio State needs a big one. They know they're going to come back hard. That should be a good matchup.
That's going to be an interesting, boring game, but I mean, it's important. For
Georgia
Ohio
versus
State.
Auburn. Auburn looked good over the weekend.
Yeah, they did, but I
You don't buy
I
Auburn
made
at
a
all.
point. No, I don't buy Auburn at all. I made a point to give a little bit of run to Georgia since they were ranked number 1, amazingly enough.
Mhm.
You know,
They beat Notre Dame.
yeah, that was early Notre Dame.
Yeah. Your Michigan Wolverines are still in it, though. Your Michigan Wolverines are still there. They got a chance,
Yeah,
man.
they still playing games. They're not in anything.
They run out, they win it.
When
I'm assuming Ohio State's going to beat Michigan State this weekend. And if Michigan runs the table out in the division, they're going to go to this.
that would be a complete waste, man. They
Big
shouldn't
12
put-
championship
They
game.
shouldn't put
Big
them
10 championship
anywhere near that top 4.
No, that's not going to say they're going to get there. They're not getting
Yeah.
that. They're going to win the probably. They can probably make it to the Big Ten championship game against
Yeah, that
Wisconsin.
doesn't. This year, well, Penn State now they've lost twice, but winning the Big Ten doesn't mean you're actually.
Well, if
good.
Wisconsin wins
Well,
for their
yeah.
sake, they're undefeated.
They're undefeated. I mean, you can't take away undefeated, man. I need to see Wisconsin beat somebody now. Ohio
That's not their
State-
fault that all them teams are losing. And they're
It's
now
not.
only ranked. That's not
You're
their-
gonna get an opportunity to
their
play
sched-
Ohio State somewhere.
Their schedule, if they make it to the Big 12 championship game. I mean,
Penn
Big
State,
they play,
Michigan,
but
somebody.
they won't play a team in the top 10 though. That's the thing
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
not gonna work for them.
Because these
Tough
teams
break.
are not top 10. Ohio State, unless Ohio State wins and all these other mobs lose or something, they're still not gonna get a top 10 win for a minute.
Tough break.
Yeah. But they'll play them in the championship game. Maybe Michigan, Ohio State. You know, they might get one of them, or maybe Penn State.
I
Who
don't want to
knows?
see Michigan play another game this
Them
year.
your boys, though. Them's your boys.
That's Stanford, man.
He said that's Stanford. I don't know about all that.
Foolishness.
Well, right here, right now, who's the top 4 teams?
The same top 4. I mean,
Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Clemson. Are you sold on Clemson with that win they had the other day?
not really. But who else you gonna put in there?
Who else? Should I name some teams for you?
You can. I mean,
Wisconsin, undefeated. Canes, undefeated.
you gonna run.
Oklahoma, if you want to just throw them out there.
Speaking it, I understand speaking it into existence, but
Nah, I don't have to say a word. Every week I tell you, I'm not going to
these
say a
games,
word.
boy, you on a crusade with them, man.
That's my mob. Been my mob for years. Way back in the day. Way back in the
ain't
day.
happening.
Back in the Jim Kelly days.
Ain't happening, Captain.
Ain't happening what? They gonna lose, or the dream dies this week is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I expect Notre Dame to win. Where's the game being played?
In Dade County. Dade County.
County. I mean, you know.
Had to catch myself. Oh, man.
Listen, man, I don't expect them to win that game, but
Interesting.
but the top 4. I mean, I'm going with Alabama's number 1.
I still got Clemson in there. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah,
Clemson, they lost to on a Friday night without their starting quarterback. I'm gonna keep them there. They had a big win over the weekend, big game. They won, had a nice test. NC State was a good matchup, had a chance to win it. Clemson played ball. Take that. Folks, when we come back, we're discussing the Wizards and a little bit about NBA. Right after the message.
Thanks for buying the fishing license.
What the?
I know, but listen. I want you to picture all of the great things this simple purchase does. Like building public boat ramps, keeping local waters clean so families can fish and swim, and maintaining a healthy fish population.
What's Mom doing?
It also provides fishing education and activities for the kids, and funds long-term plans to protect our lakes and streams.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Did he?
When you buy a fishing license, you do a lot. Because every dollar from a license purchase protects and maintains your local waterways for future generations to enjoy. Learn more at takemefishing.org.
Folks, welcome back to the Sports Zone. The Wizards are 5-4. Won a good game last night over Toronto, but they were without injured John Wall, who hurt his shoulder. The Wizards last week went 1-2. They let LeBron go for 57. I was pissed off about that. Nobody wanted to play any D on him. But this week, they got a chance. They got 3 games they possibly could win. They got Dallas on Tuesday. They got a big game against the Lakers, a get-back game. They might, it's possibly can lose that one. But then they got Atlanta. Atlanta just beat Cleveland, but they're going to ride high. But that's 3 games they could possibly win. They go to possibly get to be 8-4. I like the Wizards right now. They got Markieff Morris is back. Twin is back playing ball. So they got Kelly Oubre back on the bench, come off the bench, and he's playing dynamite ball. Your take on the Wiz?
I mean, I probably been a little bit hard on the Wiz, but I don't know that they playing good ball. They playing good enough to get up double digits, and then
wins are wins.
Bad enough to blow double-digit leads and lose the game.
I hated how I saw him play LeBron on defense. That was terrible.
On national TV, man. That was like no effort from the jump, man. That was
terrible. That dude hit some jump shots. Just don't let him pulverize you. Man, he ain't hit. Man, look, don't even start. I saw last night what he did. He went to the hole when it mattered. They were down 4 when they played Atlanta. Then the next possession they down 2. He ducked that fire.
It's how many games? 10 games, 12 games.
Yeah, I always say after 20 games, you know where you stand.
It's
there's a lot of parity in the league right now. Only a handful of teams. Well, Boston is right now to me playing the best ball. They won 8 in a row.
9 in a row tonight.
They won 8 in a row. Detroit's 7-3. Houston's 8-3. Detroit's playing good ball.
Orlando.
They 6-4. I don't count that yet. But Minnesota won 5. They 7-3. Golden State has got their mojo back 7-3. Everybody else is like 5-4, 4-5.
Yeah,
6-4.
It's like I'm going to relax my disdain for how the Wizards do it right now. I'm all angry about how they're playing, and it's only 9 games in. Even though I think this kind of stuff is going to come back to bite them in the butt later on in the year. And what I will say is they act like a playoff spot is already assigned to them.
They can't think that this year.
That's the way they look like they're playing right now.
No, they can't. Well, they playing good ball.
Last
night they played well last night.
It's us, Boston.
Bill had 38 last night. Porter gave him 19. They played well last night.
Bill is balling.
That's without Wall. They play good ball.
That's what he should do.
Right?
You're a good enough team to where you should be able to win some games without Wall. You would hope. But they can't win many with. They're going to have to play a real they can't
balanced
go
attack.
a long stretch.
I don't expect Bill to give him 38 while he's out. I don't know how long. These 3 games here now, and Wall does not play.
Man, Bill could do that every single night.
The Laker game is going to be tough, but they should be able to beat Dallas and Atlanta without Wall.
Dallas has had their number for the last 5-6
Dallas is
years.
good, man. Look,
Dallas is terrible this year.
The combined record for those guys right now, those 3 teams, are 8-23. And the Lakers are 5-5, helping that record out.
Hey, man, you act like you talking about Jordan and the Bulls. The Wizards play down to the competition.
That is very true.
The Wizards can't take anybody for granted.
That's true.
People could look at the Wizards and say, man, we got the Wizards coming in here. We can beat them.
That is true. Right. Folks, we got to shut it down soon, man. One time for them Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, they gave Morgan State a good beating, 41-28 over the weekend. And you got to give some love to the Houston Astros. They won the World Series in the Game 7. The Game 7 wasn't even close. They won 5-1. A town that's went through a lot with Hurricane Harvey. That's their first championship since the Houston Comet days. For those that don't know, it's WNBA basketball, for those not following. And
know what's wild is you had the hurricane stuff happen and the floods this year with Houston. You had Katrina happen and the Saints won.
That's true.
You had 9/11 and the Patriots won.
Very interesting.
It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's very interesting.
We'll see. Folks, check us out, man. Click on the link, man. Check us out. Give us a like or a dislike on this thing. Watch us on channel 25 on Verizon and channel 71 for Comcast. My man Shaka Bradley. I'm Charles Hall. This is the Sports Zone. Behind the scenes, my man Jerome working the camera. We'll see you next week.
All he is explode.